This is what we're going to see, Heat 3B. It's our last prelim of the day, unless we do, in fact, run a consolation. But look at the nice draw for J.W. Myers, Mark. He's had a pretty good day all of a sudden, and he didn't draw any of the other three highest-scoring boats, so he gets the inside.
Yeah, he's in a great position on the inside, probably the fastest of these four boats. The U-100 Jerry's Tavern. You just saw Scott Reister talking to Kurt Taverner, working on the engines of those boats, driven by Greg Hopp. The U-48 Whirlpool presents Albert Lee. Brian Perkins, the driver there, and Mike Webster. The U-22 Matrix Systems are rookie, really the only rookie in the Unlimiteds this year.
Brian Perkins has 296 points coming into this heat. He would have to finish first or second, I would think, to have a shot at the front row of the final. J-Dub in great shape. He has 569 points. If he wins this heat, as he probably should, he would have 969 points. He would be second only to Steve David and the Oh Boy Oberto when they draw the lanes for the final heat. So things have gone well for the yellow boat owned by Jane and Billy Shoemaker. There it is right there. And of course, J.W. Myers, the veteran, now subbing for Jean Theoret, who's been here sitting right below our tower watching the last time out. And Mr. Theoret expects to be back in that boat next week.
Looking at Brian Perkins as he exits the pit area. Just over 5 minutes to go before the start of Heat 3B.
That boat, you'll see two yellow boats in this heat. You have to look a little bit closely. If it's darker down toward the water line, that's actually green, and that's Brian Perkins' U-48 Whirlpool presents Miss Albert Lee. The boat that's all yellow, top to bottom, front to back, that's J.W. Myers in the U-37, the Haas Mortgage.
We'll come back in just a moment, take a look at the drivers who are in Heat 3B. We'll be back. Stick around. Less than 5 minutes to go before the start of the heat. Live high over the Columbia River, just to the west of the Blue Bridge. Our helicopter camera shot gives us such a terrific view of the first turn. It's incredible to see those boats, and you can see how close they get when they are coming through that first turn at 200 miles an hour.
That was the all-white Matrix Systems Automotive Finishes U-22 that was on the right side of the picture, moving up toward the top. That's a young man named Mike Webster. We'll show you that in a minute from Reading, Pennsylvania. Brought that boat a long ways. We'll start with this driver, J.W. Myers, all of a sudden having a pretty good day in the U-37 owned by Jane and Billy Shoemaker.
And he's got the inside lane this time around. Next to him will be Greg Hopp in the U-100 Jerry's Tavern. That's a pretty good spot for Greg to be as well. Very low profile to that boat, very dark in color. Brian Perkins has a yellow boat with green sponsons. It's the U-48 Whirlpool presents Miss Albert Lee Appliance of Seattle, and they will be in lane 3. And on the outside will be Mike Webster in the U-22 Matrix Systems. That boat running on the outside, and as it went by, I could hear a very high-pitched whine in the boat. I hadn't heard that earlier in the day from that particular boat.
Little different sound than what we're used to. Mike is a very accomplished national mod racer back in the East, very well known in the limited ranks. Bought a boat from Ed Cooper. That boat raced here as the old Tubby, the original piston-powered U-3. Mike obviously has modified it. There's a nice look at the boat. Installed a turbine engine with the turbine scoop. Beautiful white paint job. I love white boats, Mark, as long as we don't have 4 or 5 of them, as we did one year in Havasu.
With that red stripe on it, looks a little bit like a Coast Guard boat.
Yeah, exactly. And here he comes through the turn. Mike got his driver's license in Madison, got his laps in, had rookie status, had to trail the field a little bit. Now he's ready to go racing. Probably doesn't have the race boat to run with the leaders here just yet, but they are bringing that along little by little. We know the young man can drive, and once he's accommodated himself to the Unlimiteds and had some seat time and gets good equipment under him, Mike Webster could very well be a factor in this class.
J.W. Myers slowly up the backstretch. You'll see him come into the picture in just a moment. You're looking at Greg Hopp, will be in lane number 2, and outside of him will be Brian Perkins. Now all three of them come together, and they're about halfway up the backstretch. J.W. going fairly slowly. This looks more like a Fight for lane start for JW.
Looks like they were fighting and he won, but right now he has the inside. He picks it up a little bit. There comes J-Dub. It would be horrible for him to make a mistake here and jump the start. All he has to do is make a good start, and he should be able to control this heat from the inside. So hopefully J-Dub will be a little bit cautious. I don't think Greg Hopp will be. He's a charger. Whenever he gets a chance to run, he'll be in lane 2 in that low-profile, dark-colored boat. That's Greg right there. And then on out to the U-48 on the outside and the 22 beside him. Here they come now. J-Dub picks it up a little bit.
Just a little bit early.
Oh, they might be 3, 2, 1, 0. They're okay. It's J.W. Myers leading on the inside. Greg Hopp right next to him. None of those boats running at full song. They're being a little bit cautious right here as they head into the first turn.
J.W. Myers on the inside, the yellow boat with the white on the tail feathers, and next to him Greg Hopp. You see him come into the picture right there. From above our helicopter camera, J.W. Myers with about a half rooster tail lead. Brian Perkins and Mike Webster deck to deck as they come through in 3rd and 4th places and now head up the backstretch with the rest of the team, and it is J.W. Myers with about a full rooster tail lead, Steve.
You could see from our overhead shot how J-Dub squared that. Oh, Greg Hopp slowing down. We're going to lose the U-100. I was starting to say J.W. squared that corner off just a little bit at the exit pin, which is something you do to keep the guy to your right from knowing exactly when you're going to turn. So the veteran doing a great job there.
J.W. Myers comes through the turn, but we've got a great race for 2nd place between Brian Perkins and Mike Webster. They are side by side as J.W. Myers comes down to take 1st place, lap number 1.
Now, this is the first time that we've seen Mike Webster get a chance to do some real racing. I think he's decided he's have enough time in this boat now to go let it hang out a little bit, and he's going to give Brian Perkins in the 48 Albert Lee a pretty good run. Down the straightaway, the 22 is actually faster. When you look back here, now you're watching the leader go through the turn. That's actually the, yes, that was J.W. Myers. Now from our overhead shot, you'll see the next 2 boats. Back to the leader, the U-37, Haas Mortgage, J.W. Myers, and back behind him, a great race for 2nd place now, Brian Perkins on the inside, and there comes Mike Webster again. This is the first time we've got a chance to see him really go racing. Mark, I think he's having fun.
Well, it's really the first time we've had a chance to see Brian go racing very hard against somebody else, too, and they're having a great little race. Here comes Brian right up beside Mike Webster in the U-22, the 2 boats side by side. J.W. Myers, our leader, is all the way through the turn, but this is a kind of a great race here between Mike Webster on the outside and Brian Perkins on the inside. End of lap number 2. It'll be Haas Mortgage Investors in 1st place, but here they come through the turn. Brian Perkins now hugging the buoy line a little closer.
You remember Brian Perkins last year driving that blue and yellow Navy boat, the U-50. It is owned by his owner, Greg O'Farrell. They decided to run this one this year. It is about 600 pounds too heavy, and there's nowhere they can take the weight out. That's the primary reason he's not able to run with the front runners. But a great young driver and getting a great race here from a rookie. Mike Webster in a boat he put together over the winter, the U-22 Matrix Systems. Into the corner once again, side by side.
So 3rd time around here for J.W. Myers, halfway up the backstretch, a half a lap to go. That great race for 2nd place between Brian Perkins and Mike Webster. Perkins comes off the corner first. You can see him now, but Webster is only about 4 boat lengths behind.
J.W. Myers has a quarter of a lap to go to the checkered flag. Just take it easy, keep it on the water. He's going to be in great shape to make that final heat. He'll be 2nd only to Steve David in points on the weekend. Great job there. Now Brian Perkins is legging it out a little bit. We'll give the checkered flag here to J-Dub as he comes by. Good job, Mr. Myers. 400 points for a 1st place finish. Now let's go back and watch the race for 2nd and 3rd. They are coming off the corner. Brian Perkins on the inside. Mike Webster hit a little bit of a hole right there, slowed him down, and it looks like Perkins may be able to hold him off, but Mike still has the pedal down, trying to catch him. It's going to be Brian Perkins taking 2nd place, but a great run for Mike Webster as he finally gets a chance to do some boat racing here in the unlimited ranks. He picks up 3rd place points.
As you said, Steve, he is a very accomplished national mod racer, which is one of the smaller inboard classes. A
very hot inboard class, by the way.
And actually he raced here with the Unlimited Lights 2 or 3 years ago in his boat, which was called Red Hot, which was the UL2 during that year. So he's actually got some familiarity with the race course here as well.
And you can see him getting more comfortable in that race boat. We haven't really seen him air it out, run it hard until that heat. Good to see him do that. I think he's starting to feel comfortable and feel like maybe he can do this. We knew all along that he could. It was just a matter of time.
So it was J.W. Myers, wire to wire. He had a pretty easy time of it, just wanted to get those points. Second place goes to Brian Perkins in the Whirlpool Presents Albert Lee. And the third place boat, Mike Webster in the U-22 Matrix Systems. Pretty good little race for second and third place for Heat 3B.
We can total up the points now and tell you who is in the final. We can tell you for sure that Steve David is with 1,050 points, and that win by J.W. Myers gives him 969 points. If you had told him this morning that he would go into the final heat second in points, I think he'd have been very happy with that. We'll run down the rest of the points for you, let you know who's in the final, who's on the outside looking in when we come back for more, including the final heat of racing here at the 2009 Lamb Weston Columbia Cup.
Back on the Columbia River, the 2009 Lamb Weston Columbia Cup, a beautiful day. We're ready to go down and talk to the winning driver, and that would be a very happy J.W. Myers. Scott Reister.
Yeah, that's right. The whole team just celebrating right before he came down to meet J.W. Myers, filling in for Jean Theoret, and wondering if you could do what Jean Theoret does in the boat, and you certainly did just that. Talk us through that last lap there.
Well, first of all, the credit to Jean Theoret. I mean, if I'm only half as good as him, I'll be happy. But these guys put a great race boat together. You know, they just don't give up. I can't give up on them, and, you know, we do this one more time, and we'll be really happy.
That's right. You just kind of throw it into the cockpit here, and it's working out so far. How amazing would that be if you could take this to a Columbia Cup victory in the final heat?
Well, we could talk about that later this afternoon, but it would be pretty awesome, you know, to have Jean's back like that, the whole team's back, and you know, I've raced with these guys before, and I couldn't imagine racing with any other group. I've raced with other groups, but there's no stronger definition of a team than these guys.
All right. And how did it feel? Is he good enough to take care of David in the final, you think?
It's going to be tough. Those guys are fast. Those guys work hard. They've earned every mile per hour they've got. You know, this team's had some rough luck this year. All we can do is our best, and they've got a really strong team. I just feel that our team probably wants it more than them, and hopefully it'll show at 5 o'clock.
All right, thanks a lot, J.W. Myers. Hopefully we won't get squished here, so we'll get over here on the docks a little bit. But J.W. Myers winning Heat 3, and they certainly headed to the final with a lot of momentum, to say the least. Back to you.
Well, here's your Paul Parrish Limited Heat wrap-up for Heat 3B. J.W. Myers, you just saw him. Happy camper there. U-37 first place and 400 points. Brian Perkins, I think he'd have to be pretty happy with his 300 points for second place, and a great little race with Mike Webster, who just lost that second place finish by 3 or 4 boat lengths, but 225 points for him. Pretty good showing for a rookie. Did not finish for Greg Hopp. He went down in lap number 1 about a third of the way up the backstretch. Don't know what the problem is with his boat, but he may be in the consolation race.